Carrie. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Shuttrin, seconded by Councilwoman Bushman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, the first thing is we got a bunch of proclamations and I'm going to read them. And I don't think, and we'll find out if there's anybody here to receive these. Largely because they didn't know what the weather was going to be like tonight, can't imagine anybody has any surprise with that. The first one is Child Abuse Awareness Month. Whereas child abuse and neglect are a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. Whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of our communities. Whereas victims of child abuse and neglect are known to be a higher risk for experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, low academic achievement, drug use, juvenile delinquency, teenage pregnancy, and adult criminality. Every child is precious and deserves to grow up in a healthy, safe, nurturing environment free from harmful effects of abuse and neglect. Whereas effective child abuse intervention and community prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among community members, social services, law enforcement, schools, churches, business, and civic organizations. Whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas youth serving prevention programs offer positive alternatives for young people and encourage youth to develop strong ties to their community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Pete Rest, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 to be Child Abuse Awareness Month in Green River, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, organizations, and businesses to increase their participation, to become more aware of child abuse and its prevention within the community, and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe and nurturing environment. Is there anybody here to receive this proclamation? Okay, I didn't think so. Very important issue, obviously. Okay, National Public Safety Telecommunications Week proclamation. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that requires police, fire, or emergency medical services. Whereas an emergency occurs, when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. Whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the 911 Communications Center. Whereas public safety telecommunications are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. Whereas public safety telecommunications are the single vital link of our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. Whereas public safety telecommunications of the Sweetwater County Combined Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, the suppression of fires, and the treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Pete Rest, do hereby declare the week of April 9th through the 15th to be National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Is there anybody who would like to address this issue?
I know I've appeared before you folks before. My name is Rick Dawkins. I'm the director of the Sweetwater Combined Communications Center. I have with me tonight a couple of our fine dispatchers. One of our shift supervisors is Kim Bach, and this is Tasha Verdach. Both here. We appreciate the time for the council and mayor to recognize telecommunications. We will have a few things going on during that week. about invitations and bodies and everybody entities. Thank you. I know the snow event, I'm sorry I didn't do this. I know the snow event was something on everybody's mind as of today. So just as an example of some things that go on, between the hours of 6 and 11, we had 142 incoming phone calls. And then for between the hours of 11 and 5 in the afternoon, we had 136 more. Those are just incoming calls. So we were kind of busy yesterday, as you might imagine. There was all the police folks were out, fire folks were out, sheriff's office was out. So it was pretty exciting time. But again, we do thank you for taking time to recognize Telecommunicator Week.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any comments from council? We're going to take a picture here with this. You guys, anybody want to make any comments? We certainly appreciate everything that you guys do. There's no question about it. And it's been accentuated in the last several days, if not weeks, in terms of the situations that we've had. You guys have done an amazing job along with all the emergency services, and we very much appreciate that. Keeps our community, as this says, keeps our community safe. So we appreciate everybody. Let's take a picture, council. Okay, come on up, you guys.
Try to get Tyler. Oh. A young.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Somebody's happy. Okay, finally, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I have a proclamation, but I was also given, and I shouldn't say that before I lose it here. Yeah, it's right here. Maybe I'll just read the proclamation. No, I have that, but somebody. Oh, of course. It's in the folder. Okay, every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. Sexual violence affects hundreds of thousands of Americans each year. While we're making progress, even today, only 25 out of every 1,000 rapists will end up in prison. In 2022, YWCA assisted 55 survivors of sexual assault, more than half of those victims being children. How can we as a community help survivors of sexual assault? First, we can start by believing 90 to 98% of survivors are telling the truth. False reporting is low. Participate in Denim Day, Wednesday, April 26th. The campaign began after a ruling by the Italian Supreme Court where a rape conviction was overturned because the justices felt that since the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped the person who raped her remove her jeans, thereby implying consent. The following day, the women in the Italian parliament came to work wearing jeans in solidarity with the victim. For the past 24 years, the world has joined in to protest the misconceptions that surround sexual violence. Join us on April 29th for the 9th annual run with the badges at the Pavilion in Green River to bring awareness to all victims of crimes. 5K, 10K races will start at 9 a.m., followed by community booths, recognition awards for law enforcement, and refreshments. Okay. Disgrace. Okay, citizen requests and other communications. Is there anybody in the audience that is not on the agenda that would like to address the council? Harry, go ahead and step up there. I bet you know where that podium is. And if it's not on, somebody turn the mic on. Okay.
Not much of a public speaker, so please bear with me. I'm more a public doer than a public speaker. I've gotten in my career, I've gotten a flag from that flew over the United States Capitol from the late Senator Enzi for sending cards and care packages to our troops, care packages and cards to our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan with the help of people like Lori Hastert. And I've gotten a couple of letters from Senator John Barrasso for things that I've done, like getting flags for the Wyoming Highway Patrol, or our own police department, our ambulance, our other places like that. And I got another letter from Senator Barrasso for other things I've done. And I'm not, I'm really proud of things I've done. That I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that. It's just that it goes without saying that it goes unnoticed, and especially in this town, nobody says anything about it, and it's unfortunate. I've really worked hard for this town, and probably that flag there, I probably got that flag for this.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Harry, I know from my point of view and the council's point of view, we've recognized over the years, I know I've certainly seen it in my years as council and the mayor,
And
all the work that you've done for veterans.
it's really hard.
Yes, you,
I don't want the record. I don't really want the recognition it's, it's, it's just that, it goes without saying that, it's been a long, long time. I'm 82 years old. I lost my wife not, 3 or 4 years ago. It's hard to sleep. I sleep 3 or 4 hours. I get up and watch TV 3 or 4 hours, go back to bed 3 or 4 hours. It's really a rough life right now without her. And I'm leading a rough life right now. And I'm not taking it out on you guys. It's just that I just want you to understand that I've tried my darndest to do everything I could for this community and Rock Springs. And, I used to be a drunk. I mean it. I spent more time on Railroad Avenue than I did at home. But that gentleman over there, he pulled me out of there. And he saved me. He took me to church. He saved me. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Thank you, Harry. Again, we really do appreciate all that you've done for the community, and we appreciate the fact that you're a good model for the community and what we need, and that's people that participate actively. So thank you, Harry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
You're Harry.
Thank you, Harry.
Okay, are there any other citizens in the audience that are not on the agenda that would like to address the council? Okay. If not, I'm going to open a public hearing. This is a public hearing on the proposed ordinance amending Chapter 6, Article 1, Section 6-1, definitions in Article 2, Division 1, Section 6-21, animals running at large prohibited. The purpose of this public hearing is to allow citizens to comment on the proposed amendment to the City of Green River Code of Ordinance, Chapter 6, animals running at large prohibited. Is it?
Mayor, Council, Bobby Panetta, City Prosecutor for the City of Green River. Based on citizen request to the council to address the animal at large ordinance that was currently written with the definitions being involved in interpretation of it, council requested that we review the current ordinance and look at rewriting it to, I guess, accommodate and accomplish all goals of the City of Green River. So I'm here today to see if there's any questions, if the council has any question or anybody else that potentially need answered.
Okay, thanks, Bobby. First off, council, do you have any, or do we want to hear from anybody from the public first, or? Okay. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address this issue? And maybe we actually have it in a way that people are comfortable with. Oh, good. I see some nodding heads from the public. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, to this thing? It's on. Okay, I'm Sandy Bowling, and we came last summer and we talked about this with you. And we did read it lots of times. I really do appreciate you taking the time to phrase it the way you did. I hope it helps. I mean, we still walk our pups a lot, and we have them on a long lead, so they still get to run and play some, but they're under our control. And since we've seen you, every time we've gone out, maybe we try to go out, except with the snow, we try to go out, once a week, but or more. We usually have dogs that come after our dogs, so it's still a concern. And so I just hope that this helps, you know, because I want everybody to enjoy walking the river like we do. And if we go way out to the gorge or something, then I don't expect people to have their leashes on, or Siskiyou will go out there too. But walking down by the river, we call it the beaver walk, because there's this huge beaver down there. You know, and my dogs are protected from the beaver, and the beaver's protected because my dogs are on a leash too. So I just want to say thank you ahead of time, just even because you've been thinking about it. And I know you put a lot of work into it.
Thank you, Sandy. Anybody else? Okay, council. If nobody has any questions for Bobby, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, pardon me. Thank you, guys. Keep me on my toes. Okay, so there's nobody else in the public that wants to comment. I'm going to close the public hearing. So we'll just move on at the moment. Yes, thank you. Board and committee appointment. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot. Yep. Appointment of Narina Gunter to the Green River Arts Council. The Green River Arts Council has recommended the appointment of Noreen Gunter to the Green River Arts Council for a 2-year term. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Bushman.
I move to approve the appointment of Norina Gunter to the Green River Arts Council for a 2-year term.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Bushman, seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Appointment of Ainoa Ferreira to the Joint Travel and Tourism Board. Ainoa has volunteered to serve on the Joint Travel and Tourism Board. She's a lifelong resident of Green River, has volunteered in many capacities, including school PTOs, Girl Scouts, numerous charitable organizations, the Hole in the Wall Gang, and is currently serving her final term as the Green River Chamber of Commerce Board President. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Chatrin.
I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Ainoa Ferrer to the Joint Travel and Tourism Board for a 3-year term beginning April 4th, 2023 and ending on March 30th of 2026.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Chatrin, seconded by Councilwoman Bushman. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Appointment of Sherry Bushman to the Green River Airport Advisory Board. Sherry has volunteered to serve as city council liaison on the Green River Airport Advisory Board. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Sherry Bushman to the Green River Airport Advisory Board beginning April 4th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any discussion?
The record, I abstain.
Okay, I thought you might. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous, 6-0. It's still unanimous. Okay, ordinances. Item A, consideration to approve on second reading an ordinance amending a portion of Section 5 and Section 9 of Appendix C subdivisions of the City of Green River Code of Ordinances. Oh, I was going to say, where's Mark? There's Mark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is second reading, so if you have any questions, I'd be available for.
Okay, we discussed this, as you guys will recall, last meeting. I assume there's probably no questions. Do we have any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman Kilpatrick.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago it was, I voted to oppose this, but I've talked with Mark, and so all my issues have been resolved. And I'm
Okay.
just fine with it.
Okay, good. I guess, go ahead, Mark.
And just a little background on that. Last time we the question was raised, what other communities do. We've done a fair bit of research, reached out to communities across Wyoming and got quite a bit of feedback. It seems that quite a few communities have adopted this kind of an option and have a parallel path, both with a bonding and also with holding the plat. And it seems a little mixed. You know, some communities like it one way, some communities like it the other, some in the development community prefer one way and some the other. And I think having the option and the flexibility is not a bad thing.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve on second reading the proposed language amendment to the portion of section 5, specifically 5.E final plat and section 9 of appendix C subdivision of the Green River Code of Ordinance to establish an alternative method for approving subdivisions recorded to the final plat and to clarify when building permits can be issued.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Kilpack and seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It's passed unanimously. Item B, consideration on first reading an ordinance amending chapter 6, article 1, section 6.1 and article 2, division 1, section 6-21, animals running at large prohibited. We've just talked about this in a public hearing. Do we have a motion, Council?
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
move to approve on first reading the amendments to chapter 6, section 6-1 and 6-21 of the City of Green River Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Is there any further discussion? Councilwoman Bushman.
Just so we can be on the same page that the typo would need to be changed from here to head. Oh, guess that wasn't on mine. And then the question that I had to be a little, first, let me just say, I appreciate everyone's time and effort actually in writing this ordinance, because I do know it does take time for research. But I do want to just ask if it would be possible to add a little bit more specific in 621B2 to having be more specific in the language of containment or not capable of engaging in a passerby, just fine tuning that the wording. And he left. That's right. Okay. Never mind. Chief, can you speak to that? Just
say, could you repeat that?
yeah. Sorry. If that made sense.
Yeah, Mayor and Council. Not to speak for Bobby necessarily, but we did work together on this. We did think we followed through with the languages that's best enforceable and prosecutable. That being said, this is your ordinance, not ours. If you want to make changes or propose changes to be included on a follow reading, that's entirely appropriate. We're here to enforce it after it's passed, but this is our recommendation.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask a question of Reed or the city attorney. If we want to pass this, but still consider the language, can we do that? Pass this on this reading and then just add this language if in fact, and then we can decide on it next time when we have the specific language written in the report that we're voting on. You guys understand what I'm saying? Can we do that?
Let's see.
Well, and
Let's-
since Councilwoman Bushman brought it up, Councilwoman Bushman can present it to you if the council agrees. And we'll just have that extra to vote on next time, but we're going to vote on what we've got right now.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you guys.
I'm
Is
good
that-
with the way it is, but that's fine.
it
I don't
just-
want to
it
make it
just-
too convoluted. I
No.
like the way that it's written.
And I wasn't trying to make it convoluted. It was just a tiny bit vague,
I'm just
tiny.
stating my opinion. I
That's
like
okay.
the way it is all.
Okay, So we need people to weigh in because if there may not be a need to address this further, or we can wait and see what. Go ahead, Councilman Berg. Let's go down the line.
I'm perfectly good, voting on this one the way it is. And then if Councilwoman Bushman wants to go and speak with Bobby, Bobby can have any changes in red on the next one. And we can kind of debate it from there, what the change was and if it was necessary or not.
Okay, Mike has spoken. Councilman Jost.
I'm basically opposed to this ordinance. I think what we have works. I think we can follow it. I hear what people are saying, but my feeling is I can't see putting any more restrictions or rules on people for the dog owners that can't take care of their dogs. We got ways to do it now, and I think that's the rule we should follow. So I'll probably vote no on this.
Okay, Councilman Williams.
I agree with George.
Okay. Councilman Kilpack.
I've had a number of people call and talk to me. They're opposed to the change. They like it the way it is. And my personal opinion is I don't think it should be changed for one or two people. So I'm going to vote against it right now as well. But this is still only the first reading. So there's and the folks that are opposed to it, they have the opportunity to come to the council and speak if they so choose. But I'm with George. I think things work just fine the way it is. So I am going to vote against that as well.
Okay, so we've got an idea of what everybody thinks. I'm going to ask for a motion.
I think I made the motion.
Oh,
I made the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I seconded.
Mike seconded it.
Okay, so everybody's expressed their opinion on it, so we're going to have a vote. All in favor of the motion to approve this on first reading, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
So let's see a show of hands. All that were in favor of passing it on first reading, raise their hand. 4 to 3. Okay,
Carries.
so did we get that? Okay. Okay, moving ahead. Resolutions, consideration of a resolution accepting the final plat of the courthouse subdivision, a replat of block 8 of the original town of Green River.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Amy Cox with Planning and Zoning. This is just a replat, a minor subdivision. It's a replat of block 8 of the old original town of Green River plat. We're looking to they're putting the county courthouse on one lot and the Carnegie Library building on a separate lot. Since the infrastructure is existing, it's sufficient for historical uses. There won't be any additional construction drawings, public improvements or bond required for this. I gave you guys all a copy of an updated final plat. It's just dated 3/29, I believe. And all that is depicting what's currently in the field. They set the monuments and updated the legend on it. So that's the only difference between the one that was attached with your report and what's there, what I handed you. And if you have any questions, Gene Legursky is here also with the county.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Amy? Okay, go ahead, George.
Just thought of it just now. So it might not make any sense, but I was just wondering, when you look at this corner that they got marked here, did they find you might not even know, did they find the original monument or did they have to survey and start from scratch?
I don't know. We'll let Gene
Oh,
answer
that's
that.
okay.
They were able to find some of the monumentation, but they had to recreate basically the whole block.
Did they? Okay. That was the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Gene.
That'd be historical down there.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Chatrin.
I move to approve the resolution approving and accepting the final plat of the courthouse subdivision, a replat of block 8 of the original town of Green River plat.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Chatrin and seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It's unanimous. Council action items, consideration to approve an agreement for disbursement, receipt and use of Sweetwater County Joint Travel and Tourism Advertising Grant Funds. Go ahead, Reed.
Mayor Council, this is a standard agreement that we do, working with the Joint Travel and Tourism Board. Anytime there's an event that brings people from the outside, we're able to go out and ask for $2,500 grant on that to help with promotions and advertising. We've been doing this successfully across multiple programs, including the Art on the Green. Just asking for your acceptance.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Reed? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Bushman.
I move to approve the disbursement and receipt of the Sweetwater County Joint Travel and Tourism Grant in the amount of $2,500 for the 2023 Art on the Green event.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Bushman, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. That's unanimous. Consideration to ratify the submission of 2 state Homeland Security Program grant applications to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security.
Mayor and Council, Ryan Russ, Government Affairs and Grants. As you'll remember at your last meeting during the city administrator's report, Reed noted that we were interested in applying for 2 state Homeland Security program grants. Unfortunately, this year, the application period was moved up a month earlier than in previous years. So those were due yesterday or Monday, actually. And so we have submitted 2 applications and are asking for your ratification of those submissions. The 2 applications were one for $45,000 to install some transfer switches at the water and sewer pump stations around town. This builds on last year's successful state Homeland Security Program grant in which we received $100,000 for a portable generator to provide backup power. This will allow those stations to be hooked up to that generator. The second is for $85,000 for the purchase of 6 self-contained breathing apparatus for the fire department. This is an attempt to, while we already have another grant application out that you've approved to replace all of those, this is an attempt to potentially get some money to do this in smaller batches over a longer period of time, should that other grant not come through, or also to cover the additional costs that we're seeing through inflation. This is 100% federal funds, no matching funds required. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Ryan? Okay, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to ratify the submission of 2 state Homeland Security Program grant applications to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any further discussion? Seeing that all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. And we are gonna, I don't know if you guys, we are gonna need a motion to adjourn to executive session for legal and personnel matters. First off, city administrators report.
Mayor Council, thanks. All I have, I just wanted to thank all the departments and the staff and supervisors, department heads, council and stuff for yesterday on the dealing with the storm. Definitely hit harder than we expected, I think. We had a lot of good work with the interagencies as well with the sheriff's office and with Rock Springs. We kept on target with what we needed to get done, making sure everyone was up to date. So I just want to say thanks. And I hate to say that we're getting better at it because I don't want to do any more of them, but it went a lot smoother and with and we definitely had as many issues. So
Thank you, Reed. Anybody have any questions for Reed? Okay. Mrs. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We have nothing to report.
Thank you. I'm going to start again. So sales tax for the month, $891,353 and 33 cents, something to that nature. So we're again 116,000 and change above what we budgeted for. More good news. We need to caution the citizens out there. It doesn't mean we have lots of money. We have $180 million worth of roads to fix. So $116,000 doesn't go real far when you're talking about all the things that we have to do, but it's certainly a positive note. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was, and this comes from the report from Steve today on the, I just want to read this and hopefully I don't get a rush down to Public Works or anything, but it does say, and this has got to be a concern of people in terms of flooding, that we have some sandbags for folks if they need for isolated flooding available at Public Works. Well, I'm sure get the word out on that a little bit more clearly here. But it's important for people to know that, because I'm sure there's some people that are going to begin to get panicked a little bit based on just watching what's going on with the weather as it is. It warms up in 10 degrees in the next few days. There's going to be a lot of water running around. So it is something that we'll get the word out to the public on that, you know, in terms of what's available, what you can do and where you can go. Okay. Councilwoman Bushman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo to all our city departments and streets and plowing and taking care of the storms and the police and fire. Oh my gosh, you guys must have been just enormously busy. But thank you very much for doing what you're doing. I also want to just give a shout out to the high school of their musical that they had. It was exceptionally and brilliantly performed. They slayed it. And I just wanted to also put her on the spot, but I just want to congratulate Tammy Harris for being nominated for a national chairmanship for American Legion Auxiliary. I want the public to know that. So that's all I had, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Sherry. Councilman Byrd.
I have no report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Shuttron.
Just to echo, hats off to everybody that was part of removing all the snow and getting everybody safely to where they were going yesterday. And then I did have a question for Mr. Westenscow. Second South, I didn't know if buddy had mentioned in early morning hours, I drive that about 4 or 5 in the morning every day, and those lights flicker. I don't know if we have a transformer issue or water and
Yeah, the east end, we'd had a switch go out a
Okay.
couple weeks ago, and we had an electrician come in and look at that and replace that. And it's been finicky since. So we need to have them come back out and take a look. So
perfect. Long as somebody knows about it. It's
Yeah,
like a
we're trying-
strobe light in the morning.
trying to track that one down.
That's all I have. this
All right,
evening.
thanks, Councilman. Councilman Jost.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank all the city staff that was busy this last couple days. They kept everything running in town. I didn't hear of any problems other than unhappy snowplow once in a while, but there was no problems, you know, it really worked good. So I appreciate it. And I also was looking at the numbers that Steve Core put in the report today about how much, or not how much, how many people are using programs at the recreation center. The numbers for swimming and the other events up there are really pretty high. So the place is really getting used a lot. So it's good to see. And it, you know, it's continuing to get used. So hopefully we can keep it going like that. So thank you. Thanks for the report, Steve.
Okay, thanks, George. Councilman Williams.
Yeah, we have a problem with waste management. It's confusing the way they have their issues going out. My garbage wasn't picked up on Monday. Then I finally got a phone call today saying, just leave there for the next day. So I called them up and the guy told me, or the lady told me, we won't pick your garbage up till next Monday. Just leave garbage around your garbage cans if you want anything picked up. I mean, I just want the message to go out there. They're telling you to leave it. And then you call them and they say, oh, it won't be picked up till next week. So I know around my neighborhood, the garbage cans are still out there and stuff, and there's some garbage cans that are completely full, and one more week of garbage sacks laying around, it's gonna be a mess out there and stuff. So maybe get that out to the public to communicate with Waste Management. Maybe take it to the landfill or something if it's getting too bad. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. I think it's a good thing that we need to somehow,
It actually went out again today on the pickup for next week.
yeah,
And all the media stuff and that they weren't going to do it. I think it's unfortunate, but it's been fluid because of the weather changes and, they're making the calls on that and trying to get to the streets. We haven't been, a lot of the resident sides not being able to get to it, the piles, but it is going out, on multiple areas and stuff. And we did just have a meeting with Waste Management, and I'll update you on that one going forward in terms of communications and doing some better jobs on their side to help us out because, we're hearing it, but they're the ones that are having to get the communications out. So.
yeah, and I got the call. I think it never hurts to communicate because I know that there's people that won't have heard it. So I just think it makes some sense what Ron is saying that.
Yeah, because it was just confusing the way the
I thought-
recording said, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
I thought it was a little bit confusing too. And then, so pile your garbage by your garbage. That was a little weird too, I thought. Councilman Shuttron.
In reference to that, I just wonder if there's something better that we could have them suggest rather than piling your garbage next to it.
Well, they actually
Like maybe using the green waste can for 1 week or something.
Yeah,
and
and well, I
dumping
can
that.
tell you, that's part of that was the communication. We know that everything from recycle to green waste to whatever is going to be picked up most likely in the trash aspect of it.
So
As it said, it does say to utilize other cans. They also opened up the transfer station. Will not go against your limit. You can take up whatever you want up there for those who have the ability to do that. And just say it's because it wasn't picked up and that also had gone out.
I just think we should remove the reference to putting it on the ground. We don't live in a third world country when I need to throw trash in the street and let the animals dig through it. Just my 2 cents.
Nice call, Councilman Shuttron. Councilman Kilpack.
I just want to say the same thing that all the council has said is the employees have done a great job this week in every area. So thank you for the good work that you've done. And whether George knows this or not, he just put in a good sales talk for us to put in a couple, 3-4 million to update our rec center so we can get more.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, it's good that they're coming to the rec center and I go up there a lot and the employees are great up there. I just have one thing I'd like to bring up and that is it's just kind of a suggestion. I don't know if the city has made it any recommendations on this. If they have, I've missed it, but it's a good idea right now to keep your water lines running so they don't freeze up. I would rather pay $12 or $50 a month than $8,000 to fix my frozen water line. So it's just a suggestion to the citizens of the community to do that.
That's a good one. Do you
That's
know,
all I have.
either Reed or Mark, I have seen it in the paper this week and it's been in the paper, the frost depths and stuff. Does it talk about running the water in that same advertisement?
Also get, depending if they're one or two that gets up, but I think the biggest thing we're going to do another communication because right now as it starts to warm up, the frost actually goes down and pushes it down to the ground. So you need to keep doing that. People think that once it gets warmer that it immediately, changes, but we're going to need like 2 weeks of above freezing at night time things before that frost light goes. And if just for example, the thing down at we just fixed on Flaming Gorge. We were down there talking with them and that frost depth was still at 38 inches, just right there after the water's been running next to it. So it does push it down. So we'll definitely communicate that some more out there.
Good. And that's the main point, I think, for everybody is get continued communication on all these different things. Okay. And anything else, Councilman? Okay. I just want to thank everybody too. I see law enforcement here, fires here, law enforcement here, public works and streets representatives are here. Who did I miss? All parks back there. Yes, thank you. I did see her back there. So you guys communicate back to your employees if you would. The council certainly appreciates all of the efforts. And I know it's been crazy reading the reports in terms of you guys helping out on the interstate. And I know I saw a bunch of guys surrounding a car on my way home yesterday by a convenience store. I think it was yesterday. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for legal and employee matters. And I'm not anticipating any decisions made after the meeting.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to adjourn to executive session, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned to executive session. Thank you, everybody.